Is Gareth Southgate too heavily criticised? Is he not appreciated enough by certain England fans? Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around Gareth Southgate. We are a matter of hours away from England taking on the Netherlands in Euro 2024 semi-final game, in which the winner of that game will obviously meet Spain in the final. But I want to talk about Gareth Southgate because an interesting debate has risen its head in the past couple of days or so, and it's boiled down to the fact that Gareth Southgate is not appreciated enough by certain England fans, and Gareth Southgate is not praised enough by those England fans, and maybe we take it a little bit for granted. That's the debate that we're having, and of course I want to talk about it because I've been a big vocal critical voice on this Gareth Southgate debate over the years, and I just wanted to kind of address this particular debate. So before we get into it, of course, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. I'm sure you have a lot of interesting thoughts on this, so use and abuse that comment section, people. Give me your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, all of that good stuff. I make for interesting and great reading down below in the comment section, so thank you all for that in advance if you're going to do that. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk England, let's talk Gareth Southgate, let's talk everything else in between. Southgate's been in charge now of this England squad for the past 7 or 8 years. And in that time, he has, of course, led this England side to 3 semi-finals. One of them we actually went on to the final with. And, of course, a quarter-final in the last 4 international tournaments, which is nothing to be sniffed at, which is nothing to be dismissive of. You of course have to beat what's in front of you, but England have done that, and England have done that to a certain degree. The thing where I've always drawn the line with Southgate is that it's never been pretty to watch. England have never been easy on the eye, and to say that obviously this England side have an incredible, very deep pool of talent and quality. This England side have, with them not winning anything, has always been a problem, but I've always had a problem with the level of performances that England have put in. They've not been as eye-catching, they've not been as convincing, and in all honesty, with the teams that we have beaten to get to these positions where we're finishing tournaments in the final 4, we're finishing tournaments in the final 2, final 8, whatever it may be. England should be finishing those tournaments anyway. Should be finishing those teams anyway because of how good and how deep the talent pool is. That's been my criticism throughout the years. It's been a lot of people's criticism throughout the years. But at the same time as me saying all of that, and at the same time as me being so vocal and voicing my displeasure at having Gareth Southgate as our nation's manager, I can't argue with results. I genuinely can't argue with results. We've gotten to that point, and obviously any England team, until we next win something, will always be compared to England's golden generation. And I'm not just talking about the World Cup win in 1966, of course, but I'm talking about the 2000s era, the early 2010s era, the golden generation of England, in which we had a bunch of individual talented players, full of quality. The likes of your Gerrards, your Lampards, your Beckhams, your Scholes's, your Ferdinands, your Nevilles, your Coles, your Terrys, your Sol Campbells, your Owens, your Heskys, whoever it may be, whoever you can think of from that kind of era. Incredible players, legendary players, each in their own right and each in their own individual way. Brilliant players, and yet they never made it to a major semi-final. They never made it to a major final. And that is something that's always spoke about and compared to. And that's something that as well, when you speak to any one of them players, and they always say the same thing, that they have deep, deep regrets about that England squad and about how they never managed to achieve anything from that insane squad that they had. This England side have, of course, not won anything themselves, but at least they have sort of overtaken that squad in terms of finishing in higher positions in tournaments. And they deserve praise for that, and they deserve to be recognised for doing that. But it's not always been pretty. It's not always been perfect. And there have been a few somewhat caveats to, of course, that kind of position of finishing in the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, the final, whichever one you want to pick. But again, you can't argue with results. England have gotten that far. England did it on merit. It wasn't like they cheated. It wasn't like they got through on any sort of technicality. They earned the right to get there by hook or by crook. And again, looking at this tournament as well, we are into the semi-finals. Again, we are on the verge of potentially making it through to the final yet again of a European Championship that will make it back-to-back European Championship finals for England. All they have to do is, of course, beat the Netherlands. But it's not going to be down to the individual brilliance of Gareth Southgate. It's not going to be down to the tactical masterclass of Gareth Southgate. It's not going to be down to Southgate entirely. It's going to be down to the players. And I said this in the last reaction video that I did on England. Like, it's the individual brilliance and quality of this team has bailed Southgate out time and time again. And we've already seen it twice in this Euros. We've already seen it twice in the Euros in the knockout stages. We were 60 seconds away from being knocked out by Slovakia before Jude Bellingham's moment of individual brilliance saved them. And then Harry Kane in extra time pops up with a tap-in. We were 10 minutes away from Switzerland getting a result against us until Bukayo Saka's individual moment of brilliance shined through. This is not on Southgate. If we were to go on and win tonight and get through to a final, it's not on Southgate. If we were to go on and win tonight and then win on Sunday against the Spanish, which is going to be extremely difficult, by the way, because the Spanish have been excellent in this competition so far, it's not on Southgate. It is going to be on the individual brilliance of this squad. This guy is stubborn. This guy is so rigid in his approach. He is so defiant. He doubles down on his approach. You can probably go back and watch the number of videos that I've done on this guy, and see all the bad points on him. But to basically put it in a nutshell, his stubbornness in terms of squad selecting and also picking his 11 for a match day is stubborn and defiant. His way of playing is boring, predictable, and just it doesn't match up with the squad that we have. We have a squad that is oozing with talent, and the main bulk of this squad is the attacking talent on the show. We have got so much attacking quality, both as an individual and as a unit and as a team. It is full of players that are skillful, got plenty of flair, creative ability, like to dribble with the ball, go forward, like to get bums off seats. That kind of player. They can be electric. They can be pacey. They've got speed. They've got everything that will get you excited in an attacking sense of watching football. And yet we have a manager who. Don't get me wrong, the defensive side of things is decent on England. It's not probably the best, but it is probably very decent in terms of should be at least challenging and winning these kinds of major international tournaments. We've got a manager who is too restrictive. We've got a manager who likes to apply the handbrake. We've got a manager who tightens the shackles way too much for a side that should be going out there and dominating these teams and these nations. Because we have the attacking stars to do it. But his mindset, his ideology, his philosophy on football does not match up with the squad that we have. It's a mismatch. And it's something, and it's why I was hoping that, and things might change, and maybe he might have a change of heart, and maybe he'll be like, you know what, let's actually try something a bit different. Instead, the guy did try something different, but it wasn't exactly what any of us wanted. He tried something different, and it was to put Trent in midfield. It was to put Phil Foden as a left winger. It's things like that. And I don't understand why he did any of that. It doesn't work. I think he tried to basically be some sort of Pep Guardiola type figure on an international level, and it just has not worked. For a manager who is the most expensive manager to be paid at these European Championships, and probably throughout the entirety of international football, his work is not good enough. His way of playing is not good enough. And another bad point, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, is yes, you have to beat what's in front of you, but the moment Gareth Southgate has faced a team that has posed a difficult threat to him and his squad, he's crumbled. Croatia in 2018, Italy in 2021, Spain, I can't remember which way round it was. It was either the year before or the year after in the Nations League. Did I mention Italy? Yeah, Italy 2020, 2021. And of course France in 2022. Whenever this guy has faced a tough opposition that has given him food for thought, and particularly a nation within the top 10 of the FIFA World Rankings, I think we talked earlier this year or late last year about how his record against the top 10 in world football, in international football, is not a very good record whatsoever. This guy crumbles. This guy falters. And like I say, we may get through tonight. We may get through and win the final. But it's not going to be down to him. It's going to be down to the individual brilliance of this team, of this squad. And those are just basically the main three reasons as to why I've disliked Gareth Southgate over the years. He's never learnt from his mistakes. He's too stubborn. His philosophy does not match up with the squad that we possess. And of course, when it comes to a major game, his tactics go out the window because they're not good enough. And, you know, I sit here as someone who's been very vocal on Gareth Southgate. I can't deny the results. I can't deny where England have finished. They've finished further than I would have expected. They defied expectations on some level, and of course they've got further than some of England's golden generation ever did. And in my lifetime, ever did. But at the same time, I can be critical of his performances. And I know that on some level, international football is purely based on results. And so, you know, maybe things like beating whatever's in front of you, regardless of the level of opposition. They've got very fortunate, England. That's what I'm trying to say here. They've got very fortunate that, of course, they managed to get through in tournaments that basically allowed them to by giving them a relatively simple draw. With all due respect to the other nations that they faced, England should have no problem winning any game anyway. In my opinion, yes, there are going to be a couple more challenging games than others. You look at your likes of your Argentinas, maybe your Brazils, maybe your Frances, maybe your Spains. You know, they will pose a threat, but they are still all winnable games for what this England side is, with how deep the national pool is. Even when you look at beyond the 26-man squad that is out there currently in Germany, when you look at the players that didn't quite make it into the squad, when you look at the under-21s that are coming through, the under-18s that are coming through, there is a lot of talent there. This England side is set up for a very long time to be one of the major players in international football. But we just don't have the right manager to bring that out of them, to bring that potential out of them, and to obviously dominate international football the way that we should be. We got very fortunate against Slovakia. We got very fortunate against the Swiss, I imagine tonight we're going to be fortunate again. I don't see us being comfortable in any sort of way, shape, or form against the Dutch. The Dutch are vulnerable, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't see us being comfortable. I still think we'll get through by individual quality, but I don't think it's going to be as straightforward and as easygoing as what a lot of people may predict. And like I say, I get that international football on some level is purely about results. But I think it is telling of the decline of international football over the years that someone with as basic a mindset as Gareth Southgate is getting through purely based on vibes and individual talent. I think it does show the decline of international football over the years that is happening. I think it shows you the decline of the quality on show. Don't get me wrong, there are still some quality individuals out there. There are still some incredible moments. And like I say, Lamine Yamal, for example, is insane. 16 years of age, he's insane. He's producing goals like that on a semi-final stage for Spain against France, a top nation. Says a lot. And it says a lot that this England side, we've not been exciting to watch. We've not been great to view. We've been poor. We've been underwhelming. And yet we could be on the verge. If there's any justice, the Netherlands will go through. But England could be on the verge of making it back-to-back European Championship finals. And if we do, the nation will be buzzing. They won't care about how we played, how we performed, how we got there. They'll just be more focused on the results. And I can't necessarily blame them for that. But what I will say is that the worry for me is that there's nothing out there for Gareth Southgate beyond England. There's absolutely nothing for Gareth Southgate beyond England. I was praying and hoping that he'd go to Manchester United this summer, that Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe would actually take a chance on this guy. That obviously didn't come to fruition. But there's nothing out there for this guy. If this guy was to go to a club, he'd be eaten alive because he doesn't have the level of performance to sustain anyone liking his brand of football. On an international level, he can get by purely based on results. And I think if he does, the worrying thing for me is that if he does win this tournament, he's staying on till the next World Cup at the very least. That's the worry for me. And then we're wasting more time with an England squad who will go to that World Cup, will try to get by on vibes and individual talent again, but will ultimately meet their demise once they face a France, who I imagine will be getting a new manager by that point, a Portugal, who may be doing the same, and maybe without Cristiano Ronaldo, that may have been hindering their European Championship journey, a Spain who will only continue to get stronger, an Argentina who will be looking to defend their World Cup, a Brazil that will be a different side to the one that we recently faced and still managed to, of course, lose to, and whoever else nation you can think of that will be stronger. That's my biggest worry, is that we are going to be wasting more time by trying to put our faith in Gareth Southgate again. So there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to think of there. I hope for the nation and for friends and family that on some level England do win. But I also think if there's justice, the Netherlands will go through tonight. We'll have a Spain versus Netherlands final, and I think it'll be a lot more entertaining than seeing England there on Sunday. But that's just my thoughts, my comments, my opinions, my predictions, my feelings, my everything on this particular topic. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Gareth Southgate is not appreciated enough by certain England fans? Do you think he is he deserves more praise? Do you think he is someone who we should be looking at and maybe recognising a bit more in a positive way? Let me know what you guys think on this. It's a very interesting topic to have and debate to have. I want to know what you guys think and feel. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. Wait for great interesting reading, I'm sure, on this particular topic down below in the comment section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new, want to see more content like this. Both things are always very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.